Good night and welcome to a late night gaming session. Oh, sorry, a late night modelling and crafty session on the get it right in a minute. Goblet Runes I was doing earlier. I had intended this to be a bit earlier, sort of a late evening thing. However, I discovered I'd made a horrible foobar with my paperwork, which I then had to work out what the hell I'd done and fix it, because you can't get the staff around here nowadays, apparently. I should really sack myself and get someone who knows what they're doing to do this sort of thing. And I also had what might yet turn out to be a scammer, and was definitely someone engaged in the ancient sport of faffing by email, except it's faffing by Facebook Messenger, where they ask a lot of questions, which is fair enough, but don't appear to understand your answers, even though you explain to them in increasingly terms suitable for small children who don't get it. Because I thought people understood stuff like how PayPal works if it's not on a website, and could at least comprehend a basic description of the "you give me your PayPal what's it address, I will send you a request for the amount of money," and that sort of thing. But a little bit of the therapeutic rant to explain why I'm later than I intended to. And of course, once you set one of these things up, you really do need to give it a few minutes for people to possibly notice the post. Anyway, that done, let's get down to the modelling. This is the bright green grass that I put on earlier. And this is a nasty little nylon writing brush, which is the only one I haven't managed to get white glue in. You're an absolute sod to get white glue out of, and I might actually, because I always knacker brushes when I put brush off them in it, I may very well have to do them, but it's a size 10 brush. Wouldn't use it for painting with much, but for putting on glue and stuff like that, if you can get the glue out, it's good. And for doing what I'm about to do in a minute, it's also good, which is dusting this stuff, because I've put far too much on here intentionally. So what you do, the first thing you do is you tap it, and it'll get most of it off. You see there's a, and then you will dust it to get any loose bits that are anywhere else off, and you'll end up with sort of short cropped grass. I don't tend to bother making it stand up or doing any other tricks like that, because I like the crushed uneven grass thing. I think it looks a bit better. And again, another one, hit it with something heavier. Just do this gently, it tends to dislodge anything that's loose, and then you give it a bit of a dust. Just these will be going up. It's work in progress Wednesday today, actually, so these will be going up on Thursday as finished, and I'll probably put them up with the ones I did earlier, pictures, and there are 2 more buildings to be done for this set, and then there's going to be a load of more time appropriate stuff, which has got less undergrowth on it and less grass. And I have been looking at cobble roads from Fenris to do the roads between for more time, and I might do some modifications on those, but that will be a next month's job, because I am probably going to be doing Frostgrave scenery with Fenris bits this month, and I can't afford to get both at the same time. Unless, of course, you nice people and the camera that I've got to get, so you can actually see me doing this sort of thing. But anyway, that's been tapped. And this one is going to be fun, because it is a big one, and I really could do with a bigger thing to put it in. I've got one. No, I haven't, is the answer to that question. That's why I didn't get one earlier. So what we're going to have to do with this one is we're going to have to probably do it in stages. I'll use the dusting brush completely. You can dust it, it's just quicker and easier to do it. And if you can do it over something bigger, what I'm just basically doing is getting, because I've got loads of this stuff, so I don't have to be too precious with it. It's just, I don't like to waste, and it's better off not in my computer keyboard. That's the other reason I'm getting the camera sooner rather than later, because there's enough dust and bits and pieces that can be avoided, that can't be avoided in this workshop, that now this one is the biggest one, and I'm definitely not going to be doing that over the keyboard, because I will end up with static grass everywhere in the keyboard. So I'll do that on off to one side, and I'll show you both of those when I've done that. Some dinner type trays, which are quite useful for this sort of thing, but unfortunately they're all in use at the moment, and I need to dig things out. Again, that's what you end up with, a pattern. Not all of it that will be brown, by the way, because that's the next stage of the operation, is to repeat the procedure with that stuff, so with the darker green. That's that done. And then we get the darker green. There is another green I use, but I haven't got very much of it left, and I need to find it again and do a restock, because that gives you a three shades of green. I could also quite happily use dry grass or dead grass in this, and probably would, say, if I was doing Russia, where there'd be a little bit of live grass around certain places. So again, same procedure as before. Again, pointing the camera at it will be a lot easier when it's attached to my head, because strangely enough, I know where to point. I generally know where I'm pointing my head. Liquid squeeze into the stuff, and then just put it to one side to, well, as you can see, there's a contrast between the two greens. This one is mostly grey anyway, because of the area of paved floor in here. As I said, I will be doing some kit bashed roads using Fenris's very, very nice cobbled Innsmouth streets, and I will be doing some more Mordheim themed buildings, which will be very similar to these, except they won't have the underbrush on them, and there will be, the walls will be more intact. And I'll also be doing buildings to go with that, which are this at the bottom, and are still have bits of the half timbered material that went on top of it. So again, it's a question of painting a realistic looking, right, nice looking area, and just breaking everything up and making it look, if nice, if realistic, but still stylized. Generally, you use less of the second colour than the first, because you use all the better, you paint all the bigger, better areas for. So these are all hardened with glue now. Just take that around here. as I've said probably several times now, these aren't realistic, but stylisation suits, right? Because they're all game scenery, not sort of model railway. Also, these are multi-scale. Could quite happily be used for. What's escaped be it? Well, okay. These can also be used for 1/72, where the walls are effectively higher and the stones that make the walls are bigger. And they can also be used for possibly 15mm, where the things would be huge, but they could still be usable as there's nothing on them that says particularly what scale they are, and even the doorways that are on them, whilst their scale for 25mm could be 28mm, could quite happily be just big doorways for smaller figures. So put that down there. So don't worry if you've missed stuff. This dries clear, and I can cure any. You can cure any shiny bits, because this one, this particular version of white glue dries. Just noticed I've missed a couple of bits, so I'm just going to do those quickly off screen. And I believe there is just the one more to do. And those will be finished by the morning. But as I say, I will photograph them for Thursday morning, because tomorrow is Work in Progress Wednesday, so these I don't really want to post finished product, because it's sort of against the spirit of the thing. But as I say, the next modelling job that's going to come up is going to be doing a lot with the Cosgrave scenery that I will be building out of the Fenris Games materials that I've got over there, as I said before, and have just ordered more of, because I've had a nice customer pay me, and those will be used first and primarily in demos at Books and Banter, and I intend to get them done as quickly as possible so I can actually get out and do demos, because I should have been doing them by now. Indeed, I had some planned for the week of Expo, which was the weekend of Expo, where I was going to go on the Sunday, and I was going to be demoing on the Saturday, which was Books and Banter's third birthday. Unfortunately, the Wednesday before, the unwanted water feature became beyond any health and safety related thing, and the roof came down. It had been going to come down for some time, but a lot of work had been put into delaying that day until the landlord did something about it. Well, the landlord didn't do anything about it, because he had another person coming in there who would pay him more, I suspect. And I've heard rumours to that end. So we're just glad to see the back of Books and Banter. However, it seems to have fallen out in a good way. The new place is nicer, possibly a little bit smaller, but more practically laid out, and it's going great guns. And I shall be there tomorrow night doing my D&D. I shall be there Saturday doing my D&D, and I will be there on Sunday having a breakfast, because the breakfast I had last week was first class and I would highly recommend. Anyway, that's about me for now, because it wasn't meant to be a long one, and I'm pushing quarter of an hour, and my bed is calling me And I don't want to have another day when, not this morning, I had a hell of a job waking up. So take care, everybody, and I will speak to you later. Goodbye. I'll also organise this so it's all on proper playlists. I think that's another thing that I let slip when I wasn't feeling so well. Take care and goodbye.